If you're not careful and no clip out of reality in wrong areas, you'll end up in the backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, an endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. Now, that was the original post of the Backrooms, using the picture of an empty furniture store as a liminal area. This concept of what we'll call liminal horror spread like wildfire, with liminal spaces now attributed to the same chronic loneliness-infused horror. The genre was taken a step further by Kane Pixels in a found footage-style series, and as of now, a film adaptation is scheduled for May 29th, 2026. However, I wanted to talk about the more fan-made side of things. The Backrooms fandom has an intricate 1,000 levels, although technically more considering a bunch of levels have decimals. My issue with the Backrooms is the original spirit of endless liminality is turned into an almost math equation. Environmental risk, entities, exits to other levels, etc. I was thinking, you and I could just go over a random 100 and we'll discuss. We'll start with level 403 and access denied? Is this allowed? The fandom wiki has no data and the wikidot says that humans can enter. The level denies human flesh, period. Animals, plants, fungi, all allowed. You and I, not allowed. It's almost like they didn't want to make a level. Perfect. It did perfect. Cool vaporwave picture. So, good start. Level 148, ambient travels. Unsafe, stable, but has various mental hazards. Yeah, me too. But there's no Backrooms level about me. So, first of all the pictures are vague wall shots. Dark hallway here, window there, doorway here. If this was on Instagram, a face would be slowly peeking into the glass, I just know it. Level 148 appears to be a claustrophobic complex of rooms, resembling a basement one would find in the front rooms. The rooms appear extensive, however, they possess a multitude of miscellaneous objects, resulting in a cramped and narrow environment. Basically, claustrophobia wiki. Level does contain some environmental risks. The mental hazards are much more frequent, as they can affect your state of mind after a prolonged stay. Wanderers who spend excessive time in this environment will likely suffer a variety of problems. At 40 minutes, you'll experience heavy paranoia, which... wasn't that the point of the original Backrooms? You're scared of what could possibly be around. You know, God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. Then by 60 minutes, you're afraid of other travelers and your paranoia gets worse. After an hour, you just go fucking insane, I guess. Imagining non-existent objects, trying to hold seemingly nothing, and seldom speaking of nothing. The wanderer will forget all memories of their life, including family, friends, or others, as any mention of relatives or friends to the affected individual doesn't spark any reaction. If one escapes level 148 in this stage, it's unknown for how long the effects stay, as no one has ever escaped the level past this stage, even when attempting to be rescued. It's estimated that all the effects will wear off after a few days, although this is speculative. Jeez, it only takes you an hour? It took me my adolescence. It's the second time in one level I've made that joke. Somebody just kill me already. Level 706 on the wiki has no data. You know what? Don't even bother. It makes my job easier. 528 has no data. Mind you, these are randomly generated via calculator soup, so it's not like I'm picking these to be pedantic about having no data. 909 is the last snow. Mysterious properties, uncertainty, and in typography, only with your mind. It starts with, upon entry to level 909, one will find themselves in a location that appears as a home stylized in atypical ancient Chinese fashion. Asian decor. Walking out to the house's front porch will transfer one to the second section of level 909, the Lantern Walk. Although seeming quite elementary at first, The sudden switch of environment caused by the transition can be quite jarring and unexpected for many wanderers. And that's it. That's literally it. No threats, just a nicely decorated home and a jarring exit. It also mentions a door you can't open, supposedly because it's cold. Once you enter into the jarring part, it's a lantern walk. Honestly, super calming, I guess. I mean, I'm rather confused because what's the end goal of the Backrooms? Is there a final boss? Well, we'll talk about level 1000 at the end. Level 754, the core. Top the wikis in Japanese as reactor. Unsafe, unstable, frequent radiation hazards. It's a nuclear reactor in chronic meltdown. Just like me. Amid failures in the reactors, the facility continues production, which has led to other issues throughout the site regarding its stability and safety and traversal. These near-constant processes, regardless of the ongoing damage, have led to repeated hazardous properties and entity appearance. It has an average radiation level of 1,000 millisieverts, with its highest peaks being roughly 15,000 millisieverts. It's a struggle to find both because of the conditions and because of Japanese lettering. There's a couple special areas that try and copy themselves of other levels and have lower levels of radiation, like the production line, which is just infinite, look at the normal workplace, but no people. Same with the droid facility in the command room. The meltdown zone is, it's destroyed, look at the decay. And also super radioactive, of course. Coolant is a water level. Kaylee's box is forced liminalities. It literally states, Kaylee's box was a project developed by liminality specialist Esther Kandrika. Yay, we're being meta. Level 298, watering down. Safe, stable, minor environmental hazards. Level 298 is an endless collection of indoor pools, with stairwells, beach chairs, and other amenities strewn about. These pools mostly contain children's play areas, with slides, games, and sprinklers. Okay. We're rocking with it. Entities exist but are uncommon, and the light has left my eyes reading about campus infections. I'm not really huge into the lore or anything. I'm reacting from pure outside curiosity as someone who really enjoys liminal spaces and analog horror, right? But camps? The Backrooms is supposed to be like a feeling, right? Level 298's reign is theorized to contain an anomalous property that causes those who come in contact with it for a prolonged period of time to become sadder and depressed. Their perspective on the level shifts from a rainy paradise to a moody pool collection. Those who experience months of contact with the rain will eventually develop severe depression, which may lead to suicide. I'm not going to say it. But here's the thing. Exactly like 148, it's weaponizing mental health as a weapon. Sadness and dread and paranoia are just supposed to come with the territory, and these make it like a feature, and not just something passive that comes with the mere experience of the being in the Backrooms. Level 138, Anger Management, starts with a wiki heading that says it needs a rewrite, and you fucking bet it does. Seriously, look. It starts with a whole interview or schizo post. When you read the actual article, it's not a liminal space. It's a functioning psychiatric residential hospital. The lobby, residential living quarters, cafeteria, therapy rooms, recreation rooms, medicine counter, the offices, a guy named Dr. Astrid F. Nightingale, who was the name of a young adult book protag. It's... Okay. He's the manager of the center, and there's these vacant-faced people called facelings. They're the staff. So kitty. You, me, the residential rooms. Top or bottom? Level 232, Field of Forgotten Forts. Hopefully this is not a camping spot, because elsewise, I'm going to be horny on main again, and it's going to make me editing this very uncomfortable. Level 232, known as the Field of Forgotten Forts. It's the 233rd level of the Backrooms. It is a picturesque yet desolate expanse of the countryside scenery, interspersed with abandoned structures. Being pleasantly scenic and devoid of hostile entities, its landscape lends itself well-established outposts and communities. There is an abundance of natural resources, fertile ground, and even some building materials. Oh my god. So behind the barn... No, wait, hold on. So, pleasantly scenic? Are we even in the same genre anymore? You're supposed to be in like a 600 million square mile tract of moist carpet and madness, and suddenly you're in a Bob Ross painting? It's a total failure of the genre. This is a postcard. This is a fixer-upper joint just outside of Attica, Indiana. Grain fields, canola fields, unkempt plains. For most of the central U.S., this is reality. 292 is April Fools. Safety undetermined, unstable, anthrocentrically shifting environment. Level 219 has no standard appearance, as it varies depending on the method used to enter the level. It can override a target's level entrances and alter its appearance accordingly. For example, attempting a no-clip in level 0 may inadvertently result in entering level 219, as opposed to level 1, causing level 219 to change itself based on level 1's appearance. Okay, I'm so confused. Basically, it morphs based on vibes and however you got there. Totally not confusing. It's pranking you via pretending to be another level, but it's not that level. It can manifest objects from your subconscious and play pranks at you, like plastic wrapping areas. This room's just a dick. Also, there is voodoo statues that possess the ability to repeat the sensory inputs received by the wanderer in relation to the mannequin, causing extreme rates of disorientation when in close proximity. Great, so even the voodoo statues are dicks. Great, exiting the Ditto level. Level 480, Midnight, spelled with 1 so you know it's edgy. It's a series of unnaturally flat landscapes dotted with many parts of common infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, and buildings. Level 480 is presumed to be infinite in area. However, when one wanders too far into the level, they will hear a very loud sound mix of static and glitching. And visual static will enter one's vision. And you know what? I kinda like that. I wish when I left my hometown I'd see nothing but static. The entities that exist are uncanny mannequins. They're said to be alive and like to check out travelers, but are rare. I mean, it's not horrible as a level. It's a far cry from level 0, but it's not the best place to be, but I'd certainly feel a sense of calm having a cigarette as I walk by. It's more so melancholy in its own natural way. Level 911, Liminal County Sheriff's Office. I already am exhausted from the title alone. It's a sheriff's office, with stuff that says it's from Liminal County. Like, come on. We couldn't be less on the nose. Cold area, jail cells that seem to go on for infinity, and the entity, okay. What the hell is that? This sheriff, I laughed myself out of my own chair when I first saw this. Jesus, does he come with a body cam? It says he's almost 7 foot tall, has thick dark brown beard with messy hair of the same color. The skin of his face and arms are very much damaged and dirty. So, is he a romanceable option? His arms are tangled with a coil of barbed wires, which causes constant bleeding, though he doesn't seem bothered too much. He has a high level of strength, which can be seen by him easily moving furniture around, shattering doors and bulletproof windows, as well as breaking through walls. The sheriff is also sentient and highly intelligent, which he uses to lure and sabotage the wanderers during their stay in level 911. He also just says derogatory phrases and names to the wanderers in order to offend them. So he's just every cop. Great. Then it gives you a whole quest line, but we're not here for that. But, yeah, sheriff's office. On the nose name and brutal reality of the American police state. Whatever gets Gen Alpha to be more woke, I guess. Level 144. the Graveyard of Wanderers. Level 144 is an endless series of rolling hills and lifeless dirt. Iron gates and dead trees are spread in various regions, surrounding the level's main feature, graveyards. Graveyard, ominous enough. Oh wait, prolonged stays can cause eyesight shifts, like color blindness, myopia, or even blindness and epilepsy, as well as mental issues like dementia, Huntington's disease, and migraines. Then there's hurricanes, hazardous smoke, harmful forms of water, murderous flowers called umbrellas, hostile yellow sedentary foam, and deadly glitching ravens. Oh yeah, and not to mention this cast, which are not exclusive to the graveyard: skin stealers, smilers, hounds, death moths, clumps, and the armless. And all of this in the level can compel travelers to enter. You know, when I talk about losing the plot, this is it. What even is this? This is the encapsulation of what's wrong with the modern Backrooms media. It's focused on just being levels in a video game, when the original story is all about liminality. This isn't even liminal. There's monsters. It's not liminal. You know where you're going. These are just dark pictures of the outside. You're not in the Backrooms, you're in Addington, Oklahoma. This is horribly over-designed. While 710 pulls no data, 807 is to be forgotten. Varying safety, unstable, constantly altering geometry. This one is genuinely weird in a good way. Knee-deep water, a forest, and while it has the trope of the level can pose moderate psychological hazards to the wanderer, after a prolonged amount of time at this level the wanderer will begin to feel drowsy, uncomfortable, or depressed, it has odd geometric figures that make the land shift, which, I think is a pretty cool concept. It has facelings who, unless provoked, are harmless. I think it's more cool as an experimental kind of level, and fairly liminal. Level 69 is Hilbert's Motel, and while these don't look like any motels I've ever been in, maybe it's a different floor plan. The inside looks cozy, so what's the catch? Frequent natural disasters, so back in the Midwest, I suppose. Welcome to Portsmouth. Level 69's designated name is Hilbert's Motel, due to many of its properties being in some way related to the Hilbert's Hotel paradox, a paradox that shows how a hotel with infinite rooms can still become full with the correct amount of inhabitants. Oh yeah, and apparently it has Wi-Fi. Where were you charging your phone in the first place? There's a couple employed facelings, a talking reckless 1965 Ford Mustang, and a few colonies and outposts. This is just so dumb. I didn't even have the opportunity to make a joke about the number like the childish goof that I am. With 588 having no data, we'll come back around later and see how much has really no data. 265, no data. Level 399, however, is the Neon Paradise, split into the Rosatin Hotel, the Neon Natatorium, and the Final Arcade. Safe, no harmful entities, and sustained communities. Did I just describe to you a level in the Backrooms or a SoCal apartment listing on Zillow? We were better off with no data. What's a natatorium, you ask? An indoor swimming pool. Add that one to your diction, fuckface. Level 21 is numbered doors, and oh my god, the way it is described is making me fall asleep. Whoever wrote this has a hard-on for interior design. Level 21, also known as numbered doors by wanderers, is an expansive, currently without a terminal sized labyrinth complex, made up of a vast array of hallways, corridors, rooms, and many others alike. Sounds simple enough, but it instantly goes into depth with the size of the doors, the angles of tiles, the venting systems. Holy shit, shoot me in the face. I read Intro to the Old Testament papers analyzing the role of the Covenant in the Pentateuch written by freshmen more exciting. The side effect info on my estradiol, the ingredients on a can of tuna, anything but these doors have been said to appear as standard frame metal doors, which have all been measured to height around 7 foot tall and widen approximately 40 inches. What are we doing? Liminal lobby, comfortable rooms, entirely devoid of entities? I'm sorry. You could be playing Resident Evil on level 144, or you could be in Calm Liminal Hotel number 30. Level 577, Gravitational Trampoline Park, it's a sky zone, but empty. Just like a sky zone. Grids of trampolines may be occasionally interrupted by raised platforms made of the same material. These grids are connected by a maze of carpeted pathways. Occasionally, one may encounter flat areas that are tiled in marble. Such areas contain no trampolines or other objects or appliances. Just like a sky zone. Lighting in the level is inconsistent, with some areas appearing to be lit up despite having no discernible light sources, and others being dark even under direct lighting. Just like a sky zone. Okay, but no entities, but the trampolines could possibly fling you or potentially whatever you hit it with into you. The foam pit has a different gravitational pull that pulls you into the foam pit while hard, not super quick, which is actually nightmare fuel. What makes me laugh is trying to describe the gravity in science terms I can't understand. It keeps calling Earth Terra, which I know is the Latin word for Earth, but it's so pretentious. 509 and 563 have no data. At this rate, I'll be done before the movie comes out. Do I just need to write these in? You know what? On second thought, I'm not 13. Level 789, Endless Blue Sea of Emptiness, and the page is gutted. There's nothing on the page. What the hell? When you read it, it's a first-person stream of consciousness narrative about a man trapped in a nightmarish alien dimension or void. Driven by his own past selfishness and a false idealized belief that space was a wonderful frontier to explore, he now finds himself facing an eternal punishment of his own making. Point being, a holy cosmic suffering. Is this where the budget went? Because genuinely, this is amazing writing. Genuinely, I'm actually impressed. No environmental hazards, all sorts of psychological hazards. Yeah, I bet. Level 675, The Forgotten Escape. Level 675 is bizarre and rather unknown. The information that readers will be seeing now was gathered over an extensive period of time, which primarily consists of anecdotes, anonymous tips, and very few official expeditions. Oh, come on, don't be meta with me, you're the writer. The reason behind this is a lack of accessibility and the unusual qualities. The most relevant and immediate anomalous trait that this level possesses is its starting point, which is a bathroom most commonly seen in modern homes. Well, perfect. After breaking your mind in outer space, you get to use the shitter. It's fairly easy to leave the starting point as the bathtub has a door, and the cabinet has good loot, you could just walk back where you came from, and there are showers, which, to the average Backrooms fan, is scary in itself. Okay, I'll stop playing heel, but it's so addicting. Entities, there are smoke monsters called steamers, there's a gargantuan seagull, living plastic fish in the pools in the broader expanses of the level, and killer death moths. There's some intense humidity. The bath bomb event, which the area gets a massive fog of foam, bubbles, and suds in a pinkish hue. Indoor storms, and sometimes bright ambient lights. And I have clocked out when it starts talking about collective consciousness theory. Level 37, Sublimity, is serene. It looks comfortable. Even if you're in jeans, it sounds like a texture nightmare. But I'd be so chill here, and I'd have a hard lemonade and contemplate my freshman year situationships. It says the sound is dampened and sound waves don't reverberate like they should. And the water has traces of Epsom salt, which, hello, say goodbye to your psoriasis irritation. No monsters, no settlements, just you and your thoughts. Level 396, Neon Depression, is a sprawling city-state composed of countless long-standing buildings and roadways arranged with no identifiable pattern. There are several regions like the main sector, which is the major metropolis, the smart sector with a bunch of even more advanced tech, an industrial sector, and a future fun sector, which literally locks you into a mini-game, point counter included. Oh, and a port where the area ends, it recognizes a cave system in various communities. This is literally just a city. That's it. No enemies, vague liminality, the same amount of depth if you just put purple and blue lights on and listen to Vaporwave. Level 476, Isolation, resembles an infinitely generated psychiatric hospital. All rooms share a few specific traits: having all surfaces covered in pads, basic furniture, excluding about a quarter of the rooms which are furnitureless, and all resembling copies of each other. There aren't many physical lights in the level, and where physical lights are not present, there is an unseen light lighting up that area indefinitely. They have an out-of-tune piano, a regular layout of offices, padded cells, and a cafeteria, and extended exposure to the level causes hallucinations, which, welcome to the club, traveler. They will mimic entities and other wanderers, but will never harm the wanderer they are following. If a wanderer attempts to photograph a hallucination, it will immediately turn and flee at an extremely high speed. Therefore, they are impossible to catch or photograph. Wretches inhabit the far reaches of the level. The wretches are the remnants of past wanderers and will attack and chase on sight. Once they have started pursuit, they will not stop until they lose sight, or they or their prey dies. Many wanderers have been lost to the inhuman monsters. Do not venture too far from the main office. As cliche as a lot of this is, it's cool level design. Level 59, The Sins of a Massive Mall. Alright, well, malls are already liminal. American malls in most parts of the country are dying and are stuffed with some, Hot Topic or Box Lunch or Spencer's or adjacent store, a food court of unbranded or local places, a barber shop, coin games, overpriced vending, a cinema, and if you're lucky, some type of arcade or aquarium or whatnot. There's never a McDonald's or anything except for up the block. The parking lots are impossible to traverse, and the area is too broke for a Macy's. It's funny, because the idea of distant music that feels ominous but never gets closer is still the mall experience. People make playlists on YouTube with ambience of echoes for this exact feeling. But with the way the lights are dim makes this genuinely liminal. I think the first 100 or so, give or take, levels are all, well, most of them, designed very well. It's only later did it decline. There's no entities, but intense feelings of dread and paranoia, as there should be. 832, 983, 792, 838, no data. You know, even if nobody has discovered it yet, you can still put information on it. We got the space monologue like we were in a space odyssey. Surely someone can dig up another liminal image and make up some generic, intense feelings of dread, no entities description. 441, 784, no data. Level 630 is polluted nature. It's a dead zone. Level 630 is a vast, polluted, adulterated orange forest, estimated to extend 60 million square miles. It'll keep repeating and hyperlinking nuclear infection as its threat, which is a highly corrosive and toxic substance, and it's also airborne and can infect entire levels, as it has 630. Originally, 630 was safe until the infection. There's various hostile entities, most notably the nuclear membry, which is a large spider-like entity and runs on their 3 legs at 50 miles per hour and around 7 foot tall, so you're just cooked. Now listen, it's unconfirmed, but could we take it out with a 50 cal? The original article of what it's mutated from, the Arania membry, can be impacted by mortal wounds. Have they ever used firearms in the web series? I never watched all of it, but I think I should. Point being, is it really existential dread when you've got this chunk of a species flying at you, or is it just a monster movie? 731, 547, no data. Level 45, Otherworldly Timberland. It's straightforward. It's a woodland, tall trees, blue mist, and see? This is why I say the first 100 are actually good, because liminal or not, this is a genuine unease, being within it because the human mind associates the woodlands with animal danger. Rivers, caves, the underground, this place looks like a phenomenal RPG map. Time to go collect 10 Nern root. The entities within the forest are the smilers, hounds, death moths, clumps, and the hydrolitis plague. There's also blue cloudy wisps called strands who warn travelers of danger. Cerberus, who is a monster made of roots who can manipulate fire and actively seek prey, harmless glow larvae, and ominous hunchbacks who are too slow to catch most healthy humans and have sharp claws. This is cool. Genuinely, I'm serious, but I feel like we're losing the plot again. It'd be a sick RPG, but I hate to say this isn't the Backrooms, right? But this isn't the Backrooms. It would be a cool standalone story, I'd say that. Level 151, Radio Waves. Another dramatic reading. They were driving down a back road one night. In the driver's seat sat a man named Soren. In the passenger seat next to him was a man named Timothy. Snow on the road was starting to melt away. The sun was setting. Soren's eyes were heavy. He'd been driving for more than 10 hours with no progress. Timothy was distracted, staring out the window aimlessly. Timothy asked, still looking out the window. To Krakow. Why are you so forgetful? What did you eat yesterday? Soren asked Timothy, staring at him, waiting for the answer. It is very normal to remember what you did yesterday, Tim. Tim, will you change the channel? It is in another language. You were just looking out of the window for way too long. Tim looked down at the stereo. It was collecting dust due to the age of the car, not to mention the fact that it hadn't been cleaned in months. He reached under the stereo. The shift between the channels was distorted, skipping over 2 stations. No. It played a melody that was distant and haunting, yet beautiful. So beautiful, Soren said, almost like he was dazed, almost like he was hypnotized. His pupils dilated as his hands left the steering wheel. They were going to crash. Tim's heart slammed against his ribs. Soren did nothing, just staring into the road. The music was growing louder every single second. But it was too late. Basically, it's a frozen perma-tundra with giant antenna dishes, as well as some low-frequency vibration coming near the antenna, with some broadcast and control rooms. There's a few radio stations for various wanderers, and there's no entities. Other than the idea of the Backrooms radio channel, the database, Meg Station, and Backrooms Today, it's a cool visual landscape. Maybe not liminal, but maybe unnerving in some more first-person shots. While 341 sits with no data, 22 is Parking Hub, which is under rewrite for poor execution, so yeah, that's a parking hub. It's well lit, the cars can turn on but cannot drive, parking garage surrounded by the abyss, elevators taking you to different floors. I mean, I could see it as a liminal space. I think thinking about it this way, it actually kind of works in the original grand scheme of things. But now, after everything we've already been through, it kind of just feels anticlimactic. Level 351 is the Enchanted Forest. Level 351, also known as the Enchanted Gloom, takes the appearance of a forest that extends out for 196.9 million square miles, which is the same size of Earth. Terra. The trees within the level range in height from approximately 20 to 130 feet and are predominantly composed of primarily pine, birch, oak, and fir wood types. Great, so another woodland. The pictures make it look less RPG and more horror, so we're at least for a better start. It's colder, there's an abandoned house, the Baba Yaga of Slavic folklore fame, and she eats people and can chase you, and if she doesn't want to eat you, she can make you into a zombie. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. All these are really just their own horror games. 567 and 284 have no data. Level 77, Acceptance. We start with this foggy picture. It's genuinely a work of art. Level 77 is a desolate set of ranches and fields shrouded in a thick overhanging fog. They are imperfect and broken, leaving only smudges of sense in what is or has been. That's weirdly formatted. The level supposedly carries an eerie feeling, instilling despair and tension among wanderers who enter it. Small fields littered with rusted farming equipment are found throughout the lonely plains. Weary stables let their old skeletons rest in the center of the level. They are barely standing still, standing after what they thought they have been through. There are no entities. Nothing. Just you and your thoughts contemplating which I may need to find this level. I got some things to work out. Ooh, dramatic reading. I woke up in this desolate, derelict field, like a lone star, standing out in a dark, inky sky. And there stood the statues, tall, stony giants, mocking my suffering in their silent disposition, as if to communicate their silent wisdom in their penetrating gaze. And there was this farm, the land that must remain in its solitude and desiccation, for those are the only things that give this place meaning, the only things that make it unique among so many others. And there were trees, eternally rooted to the ground that sustains it, for the ancient giants in all their natural wisdom are only really pawns in a game played by God. And there was the wind howling in my ears, with all of its natural fluidity and elegance, whispering to me, showing me just how far I've come as I stand on the cliff, gazing upon the solitary vista. And there was the storm, a herald of coming disaster, the harbinger of the brink of demise, the signal of fate long awaited. Heaven lay in those clouds, but here I was in a subjective hell of my own making. For 747, I'm hoping there's no plane joke. Update, it's a plane joke. Huge rewrite request by the community at the top. It's a plane, it has various groups like the flight attendants and cargo crew, there's multiple classes, and otherwise no others around. You're in the sky, potentially artificial. No exit doors are openable, there is turbulence sometimes, that's literally it. Level 560, Summer Blas. It's a suburban town, looking like that sky view of the homes around Patchy's house in Encino, California. It's nearing empty besides the new wandering travelers. What's interesting is that unlike any other levels, there are various, normal animals, like rabbits, deer, eagles, bears, coyotes, bats, and various domestic animals. Although this is less liminal, it's an interesting concept, but it's filler. Definitely filler. It's a well-written page in the first person, it highlights the loneliness, and sadly, I won't be giving a dramatic reading. Or maybe I will. Check it out at the end. Level 498, Identity Theft. Top warning is some of the pages written in French. Already off to a bad start. Kidding. Level 498 is an expansive botanical garden consisting of thousands of known and unknown flora, and is perpetually in a cool spring. Area 1, the Forbidden Archways, is a walkway surrounded by tall grasses, reeds, and ferns, with a broader canopy above you. If you listen carefully, you might hear the soft cries of a woman. It is not advised to go looking for her. And it follows that up with, if you go too far, you're never seen or heard from again. Area 2, the Whispering Reed, is a still pond with fireflies at night and a few benches. Area 3, Daydreamer's Way, is an ethereal walkway near a pond. Some travelers have disappeared without a trace after sleeping under the shade of the waiting willows, while some wake up feeling invigorated, so, taking notes, prepare to be vibe-checked by flowers. Area 4, Wishing Way, is a bridge over a creek and it warns against looking in the water, else you'll face existential dread. Area 5, Amongst the Hedges, is a green hedge maze with a plethora of abnormalities. You cannot damage the bushes, there's a 10% chance you'll end up back at the start by unknown means, those who attempt to climb over the hedges have been reported missing, you might see a dark figure move between the bushes, there are moments where the bushes seem to be closing in around you, there are moments where it seems that the bushes are trying to pull you into them, the duration of the escape varies between explorers ranging from 3 hours to 3 weeks. Drones have mapped out the escape routes, but they've reported that it really should only take you about 15 minutes to get out. It is not known why some explorers do not escape or take so long to escape. You have a 70% chance of going missing in the hedges if you explore them at night. The number of explorers who have gone missing in the hedges cannot be confirmed. And finally, Area 6, Jesui, is a walkway where you feel ultimate peace and you will slowly transform into a tree. This area is just amazing. Again, it's another amazing short story. 181, the Analytical Laboratory. It is a chemical lab designed with the intent of identification of chemicals and compounds, while also being capable of extracting and breaking chemicals into smaller compounds. The lab is divided into two sections: the administrative area, which is designed for storing documents, procedures, and chemical recipes, as well as the analytical lab, which is designed for performing the aforementioned procedures and recipes. Though level 181 is entity-free, it is not considered to be a safe level due to the environmental conditions that can suddenly occur. It is recommended to be vigilant while operating in level 181, as these environmental occurrences happen instantaneously and wanderers are alone, forced into isolation due to a level effect. The various states of the lab are pristine, in use, overused, critical state, dangerous state, and catastrophic state. The main picture just feels like stock imagery in the beginning of a workplace safety video. Level 483, Grayscale Halls, is as expected another hallway, but grayscale. Most hallways are connected to each other in an uneven grid structure, the same for the occasional dead end or curve. Amenities commonly found in hotels, such as janitor's closets, ice machines, and other bathrooms, can be found occasionally. Most fixtures are in close proximity to one another, found in corners or other compact locations. The level has a faint hum, as well as other minor sound effects, and has an accessible ceiling space, as well as ambient piano tune in the distance. At one point, the level became a void, and sometimes the fluorescent lights start to glitch temporarily. More long hallways, and there's only so much you can really do with this. And here we have level 810, Monotone Madness, and isn't this level 0? Like, it's a little more narrow, but it's like the exact same idea. Oh, never mind. Advertisements or images will occasionally appear on the walls. Promotions will be of brands from real life, but they will always be misspelled, and the design will be very strange and unearthly. The more exposure you have to the level, the more side effects you'll get, like nausea, seeing flashing lights, rabies-like symptoms, your skin will turn the color of the carpet, gross, and in 12 hours minimum, you could just die without help. No entities, just exposure to this kills you. Just like researching this video. 329 and 583 were without data, so level 991. Warning, do not go past this point. Firstly, warning for AI image usage. It's only going to get worse from here. It makes a long explanation that without explanation, people go here on expeditions and die, and some have turned back early with psychological distress. Also, spotted the AI image. Caption says, "This is not worth your time." It sure isn't. It's so not worth my time. I'm not reading the expansion, but if you're curious, it's a library with a basement. Level 299, Concept Stripped Airport. It is a vast, deserted airport stretching endlessly through space, with time perpetually frozen at 1 a.m. Infinite runways, a disorienting layout, but there are some shopping centers and restaurants, and it actively expands apparently. All I can say is so far, this is just Houston hobby. The story goes on for our protag to materialize in a plane cabin going down, and this picture, the inside of an airplane, is genuinely terrifying. Level 124 is Somber Streets, and it's a long winding road in a perpetual rainstorm. Honestly, it's like its own vibe at 64 degrees. Level 124 was originally believed to be infinite, but it is now believed that the road changes constantly, coupled with the non-Euclidean pathing of the road may lead to inconsistent travel. For example, one wanderer may arrive first at Old York and then at Winterfield, but another may arrive at Old York and then at Autumntown. This sounds like Pokemon names, but I'm not here to judge settlements, even if I find it goofy. Level 124 causes several psychological effects to afflict any wanderers during their stay. These include dysthymia, a calming sensation, and a mild desire to not leave the level. One may feel a lack of energy or a sense of hopelessness. These effects are the same for any wanderer's first time within level 124, but upon re-entry level 124, most psychological effects will not be present, replaced by a more intense calming feeling. This level is often used for a boost to morale to wanderers who have been here before. And you know what? At least they recognize that this place is calming, because it is. A little nostalgic, a little saddening, but calming. I like it. Even as a Backrooms level, it's giving lo-fi beats to disassociate to in a 2004 Honda Civic. Several entities are present within level 124. These include skin stealers, hounds, facelings, clumps, and death moths. All entities present within the level are non-hostile, and will not attempt to attack any wanderers unless they attempt to attack the entities in question. Entities can often be found wandering aimlessly and sleeping, as if they were lost. And hey, you know what? If I gotta share melancholy with the skin stealers, fine, it's a vibe. Level 8, Cave System, and you'll never guess what it is. Place your bets. Is it A, another empty hobby town, B, an enchanted forest, C, a cave system, or D, another Resident Evil map disguised as a rural townhome? 3 seconds on the clock. If you guess C, you're correct. Claim your prize by liking the video. But yes, cave system. It sure is a cave, or rather, a sprawling subterranean complex of towering rocky heights and deep twisting burrows. Its difficulty of navigation has rendered it effectively incapable of measurement. As a result, few have ventured into the level's depths, and even fewer have made it back out. I guess my one gripe about this, maybe I made this observation earlier about something else, but cave system levels to me always feel like obvious. Like claustrophobia and fear of the dark is almost directly the near opposite of the spirit of the Backrooms, which, who knows? Maybe that's what makes it good, but what do I know? I'm just a woman on the internet with her own picky tastes and general apathy for the genre. There are two main entities in the caves. Mortisdoptera, which is a moth that travels in swarms, and the Troglossidae, which is a larger spider. If you're afraid of spiders, skip like 10 seconds. I think the time block is on the video page right now. These things are huge, and they look like crabs, but the wiki never specified if they attack people. Albeit for the Troglossidae, it says smaller prey, so short people beware. Level 735, Blinding Mists. And first, picture-wise, I get the mist is the point, but it's just taking a picture of a public park, putting some semi-transparent smear tools on it in white, and calling it liminal. Less critical, more analytical though. The fog itself measures 104 feet in depth, and there's dozens of identical houses with their own gray roofing, white trim, musty carpet, and peeling wallpaper. A dusty environment with little furniture in unsound condition. Perpetually, it is daytime, which, forgive me, but it looks more like nighttime in the picture. The page goes on to describe the chemical mist to have a chemical compound present that is extremely harmful to human flesh and is corrosive. Short-term exposure to the level's conditions can cause mild irritation to the skin, eye pain, excessive tearing, redness, and inflammation, as well as light sensitivity, a stinging or burning sensation, and blurred vision. After a while, it can just corrode your eyes and cause necrosis and fluid buildup, and then your eyes just melt after a little while longer. You know, I think this is what Dare said would happen if you smoked a cigarette once. Once, or if the eyeball resolidifies, gross, the victim would face symphopharen, which is, in layman's terms, a condition where the inside of the eyelid sticks to the white part of the eye due to scar tissue, effectively fusing them together. The entities within are hounds, facelings, death moths, and warning kites that warn wanderers of danger. And you know, I get the facelings don't have facial orifices, right, or anything, but come on, it's not corrosive to any of these guys. Also, we're just back to physical threats with, like, poisonous mist. Oh, I get it now. I get it now. It's blinding mist. It's blinding mist because it's corroding and necrosis, making whatever is the past tense verb for necrosis. I get it. I get it now. Blinding mist. I understand. Level 65, Hyperborea, which I'm hoping is not a dog whistle. Let's hope not. Level 65 represents a relinquished industrial port, lined with barren dry docks and empty storehouses. A frigid temperature is constant with snow lying down in the surroundings, while everything is engulfed in a thick mist. Dear God, not more white mist. But it's a dock, surrounded by a forest, and within the docks are some warehouses and scattered buildings. And it's empty. Honestly, immaculate work, both staying away from esoteric Nazism as well as any other bad trope and, I guess staying fairly liminal. It mentions there is several hostile presence, but never mentions any of them in the article. Finally, we've reached a level that doesn't feel like a medical dictionary or a geography quiz. No melting eyes, no talking cars, just mist and machinery, and you know what? Maybe the lack of monsters mentioned is actually scary. It lets your brain do the heavy lifting for once. Or it just needs a rewrite like the community note on the top says. I think I've discovered a new level. It certainly doesn't look like anything else in the Meg's database. Or anything I've ever seen. Looks like the first available slot is level 32, so that's what I'll call this place. That would make this the 32nd, 33rd level. Keep forgetting about level 0 screwing up the whole numbering system. Anyway, it looks like a bunch of big cities, kind of like level 11, but it's inhabited, not by humans though, by entities. There's humans, actual humans, everywhere. There's also facelings, but they look harmless, even the kids. They behave like normal humans. Some of them are even walking dogs. Of course, from where I'm standing, they could easily just be hounds. The entire place is crowded, and if you gave the residents of the city's faces, it would look just like any other place in the front rooms. Except somehow, the more I go into the level, the more futuristic it seems. Almost as if level 11 and 15 had a baby. I've been keeping my distance. I've tried to stay away from the cities, out of fear that there's some sort of hidden danger. But I've seen enough to know that this place is safe. The whole thing, it's beautiful. More beautiful than anything I've ever seen. When night comes, it lights up with these shimmering lights. It's truly wonderful. I've got a picture of it, found it on a bench. Strangely, the photo seems to show the city underwater. Strange. Got many more photos of the actual cities on my phone, but it's dead. It's so peaceful and quiet here. Nothing to distract or hurt me. No hostile entities from what I can see. Maybe this truly is paradise. The diamond in the rough of the Backrooms. Maybe I should go down and check out the entire place, and actually go into the city. Perhaps this will be my new home. It's just a large area of land with a lake in the center, with decaying infrastructure. There's the lake, the cities, the outskirts, and there are no entities, although widely believed to be previously populated. I was gonna say something like this as some American city, but it literally goes, the layout of the cities, however, is strikingly similar to the layouts of North American cities, such as Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Detroit, and San Francisco. But I still have, let me check my phone for my notes. Yeah, okay. The mission in Advanced Warfare. Aftermath. And that's the last time in a while Advanced Warfare will be mentioned on Terra. Wait, God. Level 17. Abandoned Carrier. It's an abandoned and unactivatable carrier composed mostly of stairwells, corridors, and rooms. We're back far enough that it's fairly simple. It's got what you'd expect, and even just ghosts. Rather, they're called imprints, because they can cause distress if you look them in the eyes. And this entire video, I've been wearing my USS Midway hoodie, and it's believed that that museum is haunted, although the last time I was there, I didn't see any ghosts. Although I did feel more uneasy in the USS Lexington's museum. Easy layup on the next one, level 18, Nostalgic Memories. It is similar to a normal kindergarten, and also appears as a lifeless, eerie recreation of the wanderer's memories during early adolescence. I have a vague memory of the few classrooms I've been in, but once I left high school, every room kind of blends together. A lot of being alone and quiet. It's devoid of life or entities, but after a while, the level wears down on the mind. After some time, the paranoia effect will begin to manifest, causing the level and one's memories to become increasingly dark and obscure, to the point where nothing is visible without a source of light. The longer one spends in this level, the more likely they are to experience glitches and encounter visual anomalies. While not inherently dangerous, glitches can result in the duplication of memories in the void, which poses a risk of falling through. As wanderers descend further into madness, their memories will shift into traumatic recollections, perpetuating the cycle of the paranoia effect. God, I'm so glad my K-12 education has been over. It's been a minute, but 290, no data. Level 268, brutally cramped, comprising extensive, directionless, monotonous concrete halls, whose walls clench. Level 268 garnered a reputation for its claustrophobic expanse. Some hallway's narrowness forces wanderers to walk sideways to traverse it. The level's sub-zero temperatures plagues wanderers with hypothermia and some wet surfaces, which remain liquid despite the low temperatures. Fluorescent lights illuminate the halls of level 268, emitting an irritating buzzing noise. The levels exhibit varying appearances and odors throughout its expanse. Some hallways in the level lack illumination. Remember when I criticized the cave ones of claustrophobia? We're back, but with brutalist architecture. Wanderers get slightly ill, implying the air is toxic, but mentions critical illness is more rare. Level 268 is home to a diverse range of entities. Smilers, both male and female death moths, clumps, anathecas, spines, needle limbs, silver slimes, and lighters populate the sprawling halls. Great, so not only do you have to traverse cramped hallways with no end in sight, you share it with the creepypasta monsters from the worst trip of your life. Also, there's a specific strand of the hydrolytis plague, but spread through water vapor and causes a more slow death. I'm getting like hives just thinking of this level. But, serious question, if the hallway is so narrow I have to walk sideways, how is a clump or a needle limb getting past me? Is there a designated passing lane? 934 and 517 do not exist. However, level 249 Dolls of Wonder, and it's... You know what? No, stop. I read this and I'm done. This is level 72. This is... not like level 72. The 72nd level I've done, and this is what I get. It's not a vague liminal space, it's not a haunted forest, it's not even a kill zone for creepypastas. It's a doll museum with an enemy mini-boss, a puppet master named Lily. She tries to trick you to get you to an operating room to perform the porcelain conversion surgery on them while wanderers are conscious, which, you know what? That's the gender-affirming surgery I did not know I needed. Lily and the dolls perform the surgery. They will first inject a self-expanding adhesive that will stick to every part of the body together. They will then take off every piece of skin the wanderer has and replace it all with porcelain. After every piece of skin is replaced by porcelain, they will paint the porcelain to reflect the original tone of the skin. After the painting and glazing, they will craft a unique outfit for the now converted wanderer. The suit or dress will be just like the ones on the dolls in the level. And once you get the surgery, you attack wanderers against your will. Children are injected with chemicals that brainwash them from everything except for their name, although sadly, no fine dining here. Dude, I hate this. Can we just go back to calling these creepypastas? Because we're so close. This isn't even based on a room, it's just a picture of Lily. And again, the gender reassignment joke is just ever present. 345 and 864 have no data. Level 767, the check space, it's one of those trippy images they'd put in those stare at the red dot for 30 seconds and your vision will be trippy kind of videos. You start in the inside, which is described as a boundless mansion mostly consisting of basic necessities for easy living, which includes a bed, a TV, which, aside from static, will only display rare battles, and bathrooms. However, supplies such as food and water are extremely difficult and nearly impossible to find in the inside. Additionally, there are no exits to other levels in the inside, and any physical or unnatural way to exit, such as no clipping, will only lead to the outside. Now, the outside is where the trippy visuals start, and there's a few pawns out here, more on the chess-themed entities in a bit. Once you enter the palace after avoiding the potentially dangerous geometry of the outside, you start to see more entities as you collect more items, and then you activate a boss fight with the queen and knights mobilizing to come kill you. The pawns are the size of humans and can be easily avoided. All these pieces move at the same direction that their associated chess pieces do, so if they get to you, you either die instantly or are sent to another level, and you can't kill them either. Knights are 10 feet tall and move in the same L format. Also important to note, they are literally hopping. Bishops are there, 15-foot tall rooks. The queen, who has a 2-second cooldown compared to the others having 1 to 5-second cooldowns, and the idle king. However, you can just kill the king and take his crown. This isn't just another boss fight, but it's cool. I'd play a game like this. But it's video game stuff. I mean, I've said it a lot. This isn't really like the Backrooms anymore, is it? It's not even scary. It's funny. I find it funny. 473, no data. Level 178, also known as Anomaly Ahead, is a rainy network of intricate overlapping highways. Its name is derived from the numerous anomalies frequently witnessed in the background of the road system. You're in a car, and the car, after you drive it for a bit, ends up driving by itself. The cars have slight films of gas, with the potential for a flame to start in the car if you try to impair the car. Various anomalies happen in the city. The car has a chance of crashing at high speed, but if not, you end up at a dead end. You may leave, and that's the end of the level. Honestly, a long car ride sounds nice and peaceful right now. No nuclear spiders, no Lily the doll mistress, just the hum of the tires in the rain. After 76 levels of this, a dead end sounds like a luxury suite. I might just take a nap in the back seat and hope the car doesn't crash. Level 287, Abstract Void. First of all, when you go on this level's wiki page, it turns the entire page grayscale and puts this attempted filter with the VHS play, but I don't know if it's because I'm not in dark mode, but it's annoying and makes it hard to read or screenshot for you. Level 287 explores the monotony of a 1970s office building, with cold gray concrete walls and a repetitive pattern of tiles and dull carpet flooring. Level 287's layout is dominated by winding maze-like carpeted hallways and rooms ranging from regular offices to massive computer call centers and cubicle complexes. Each office is bleak and depressing, and then you scroll down to anomalies, and this filter and the font color and the grayscale make it so hard to read, I'm gonna pretend like it's not for me to read. Poor level design. Talk about poor wiki design. It's a cool level design. I love these office ones. Moving on. Level 579, no data. 363, no data. But we do have level 600, Deathly Desert. Starting off with its creative name, it's a highly dangerous level of the Backrooms. It consists of an expansive desert mostly dominated by dunes of varying sizes. The area is desolate, uninhabitable, and the survival rate of human life in level 600 past 1 hour is 0%. And not because of the heat. It's 95 degrees permanently. But because of the entities like the 5 houses long bullet-resistant death worm or the elephant-sized death bird. This is just another kill zone. Although it's funny to imagine to see those kind of people who test like which caliber can go through a Cybertruck to be here like, alright, which caliber can penetrate a death worm? 943 and 673 have no data. Level 442, also known as It's Way Too Late, is described as a modern residential house originating from the late 1990s to early 2000s. The level takes the appearance of a typical suburban home commonly found in ordinary neighborhoods. Despite its familiar design, the house exists in complete isolation. No streets, sidewalks, or nearby homes have ever been observed surrounding the structure, and any attempt to view the outside through the windows often results in an unclear or darkened view. And you know what? That's a suburban home. stable climate, varying lighting. However, at the top, we have heavily unsafe infrastructure and constant gas leaks. Wouldn't be the suburbs without a little carbon monoxide. It's described as extremely dangerous and guaranteed to result in death if unprepared. Some parts may just collapse, there are gas leaks, some gases are highly flammable, and there are hostile shape-shifting smilers hiding in the dark, and are nearly always fatal and overtly hostile. Similarly, hounds, and less threatening but still dangerous, the dullers, which are 6'6" humanoids. This is just death creepypasta kill zone, but now inside. Nowhere is safe here whatsoever, which is probably the point. Why is every monster seems just a genius level threat? It's like 99% of these monsters have superior intellect to humans, and it's boring. Level 121, Vacant Plaza. It's a vacant mall with an infinite amount of floors. It's dirty, moldy, and the farther you go it gets more warped. The vacant plaza has no entities, but it probably has some sick clothes in the abandoned stores. Look for a Spencer's. It's the most straightforward we've been in a while. Level 121 also harbors mirrored stores, identical shops that appear in multiple locations and reflect any changes made to one venue across the others. If a wanderer ventures deep enough into level 121, they will eventually reach its furthest boundaries, an unstable section where the mall structure begins to dissolve into fragmented pieces. Traveling anywhere beyond the level's stable boundaries is highly unrecommended, as wanderers without adequate equipment will usually end up missing. Honestly, it's a nice breath of fresh air. I'll take it over any graveyard or deathly desert. Level 503, Bliss Corp. It's a large city with factories, neon signs, and a constant poisonous smog that will just kill you over time. So if you brought a gas mask, you're in luck, and you're just SOL if you didn't. There's also a lot of trash on the ground, which you're probably going to trip over. The factories are well guarded with cameras and alarms. There are train stations, the canteen, and the break room. In the level, there is hounds, smilers, silver slimes, as well as these robots called kill switches. Kill switches are metallic humanoid beings with no discernible features other than a hole in the middle of their face, lined with serrated metal teeth which rotates at a very high speed, assumed to be their mouth. When they find wanderers during the night, they will chase them until they either leave or are caught. When wanderers are caught, they'll be shoved into their mouth until they are completely consumed. And other than the four bots, humanoid workers, and dual camera turrets that shoot nets. Safe to say you gotta Splinter Cell this level, apparently. The irony of calling a place Bliss Corp when it's just a giant toxic dumpster fire is so on the nose it's practically a structural hazard. While 582 doesn't exist, Level 448, Cat and Mouse, does. Level 448 is an average American house, which is complete with a liminal feel. Although Level 448's exterior is not typically accessible, a large suburban neighborhood expands beyond the confines of Level 448's house. The houses look old and deserted, with neglected yards and trees that seem oddly twisted. During the day, the place seems gray and gloomy, as if it was stuck at nighttime. Wanderers say they've only seen semi-transparent figures peeking out from inside the empty houses. When you enter, a childlike voice counts down from 30, and when it's done, a hostile entity that looks like a child will begin to hunt you down and kill you via bear hug. It is notably difficult, but that's the end of it besides the oddly nostalgic pictures. 273 no data, 623 no data, but thankfully, we get back to the original 10 with level 9, Darkened Suburbs. It is outdoors, starting off in the suburbs for once. It's dark, there's fog, what's not to love? Oh, and a high entity count. Wretches, facelings, windows and predatory doors, death moths, skin stealers, dullers, smilers, clumps, procule lumina, plenty of microbial organisms. Brother, you want it, the burbs have it. We also have Neighborhood Watch with giant eyeballs, who are oddly too aggressive, as well as Black Fog, an observer from the shadows. This is just your average Gmod RP server. Why are the suburbs always the most crowded levels? Sometimes the scariest thing in the suburbs isn't the skin stealer in the bushes, it's meant to be the silence. But here, you can't hear the silence over the sound of 50 different entities trying to pay their mortgages. Next. Level 540, Monochrome Metropolis. With its name that is blending into its own wiki, it's yet another industrial cityscape, but more early 1900s flavored. Ooh, and also, color scheme and visual filter included in your vision, so we have that answered. Parts of the area are warped and called the warp zone, standard fare by this point. There are factory workers in the industrial zone, and the aforementioned warp zone, with its distorted architecture and less monochrome filter and more of a rose-colored filter. There's also a giant hazard region in the industrial zone, with contaminated air and potential for acid rain. Other than the faceling workers, there are smilers. The more I look at the picture of the smilers, the more I think of the album cover of Over Tonight's Gingerbread album, which is a banger. 455, 262, 631, no data. But we do get level 479, entomophobia, which, if you were wondering, entomophobia is an intense irrational fear or disgust of insects, so fuck me, you know where this is going. It is a series of interconnected hallways lined with doors leading to studio apartments and hotel rooms. With all the mold and grime and random itches you could ask for to complement the brown murky water dripping from the ceilings. Level 479's warm temperatures make it susceptible to back sacks, which, at first I read, ball sacks. But I know what you're wondering. Blondie, what's a back sack? Good question. Community note at the top says the page needs a fix as back sack, an object mentioned in the page, doesn't exist anymore, with doesn't spelled wrong. But what entities do exist here? Bugs. Obviously, bugs. Centipedes, spiders, beetles, scorpions, flies, mosquitoes, leeches, bees. Their sizes are slightly larger than their typical Terra counterparts. When staying in a room with a quarter critter for 2 hours, wanderers will contract eczema, developing skin rashes that gradually worsen. The eczema may leave the wanderer tired, weak, and doozy. An insect may stealthily inch closer to a wanderer and painlessly bite them while they are in this state. Wanderers will incur a fear of insects, and they may either sprint away or violently kill the insect on sight. When a wanderer leaves level 479, these fears slowly wane out, yet a slight fear may persist. You gotta wonder how many just have PTSD as a symptom in the universe. I am officially calling my dermatologist after reading this, or bathing in hand sanitizer, whatever works first. Level 214, Broken Exterior. Level 214 is widely considered as one of the safer and more habitable environments within the Backrooms. Okay, so what's the point? Its pleasant atmosphere, steady availability of edible supplies, and recreation-friendly design have made it a favored resting level for many long-term residing individuals and organized groups. There are no known hostile entities within the area, and conditions are largely consistent with no recorded environmental instability. Never mind, I'm done. We're moving on. We're not exploring the rest. This is the identity crisis of the project, right? A third of the writers want to be Stephen King, a third want to be the next creepypasta, and the other third want to be Sims players. Level 926, Skyfall. What's important to note is the threat index labels it Petrichor, which means the author either opened up a thesaurus again or read Brian Gyamfi. Level 926 features an endless beach where rain falls without pause. The shore is composed of smooth, multicolored sand, entirely free of sharp objects, like rocks or pebbles. This soft texture allows travelers to sit and rest comfortably. The level's time period remains undefined, as light only reaches selected areas. Most travelers describe it as a perpetual sunrise that fills them with a sense of lightness. With a cool sea, a cloudy sky, nearby wooded area, it contains one other entity, light humans, and holy shit, it's a Sidewalks and Skeletons album cover. Also, funny to mention, in one of these drop boxes, I almost got stuck in the pop-up it gave me. Seriously, these need X buttons. The real enemy is the UI. Level 320, Coney Island. And holy shit, another horrible UI. What has happened to my eyes? Welcome everyone to the ultimate amusement destination in the lands of the labyrinth and wonders. After some extended renovations, we are pleased to announce our newest and biggest adventure yet. Everyone knows of our original location in Entertain Land, but we knew it wasn't enough. We wanted more. We wanted to be bolder, bigger, and provide the ultimate thrilling experience for all wanderers alike. After careful planning and building, we have done it. We are pleased to all of you, Coney Island. This park has everything everyone wants, from the most thrilling of rides to the most delicious of foods, to the wackiest of shows. We have everything you have dreamed of. So what are you waiting for? Come on down and ride our rides, eat our foods, and watch our shows. And have a wonderful and wacky day of fun here at Coney Island. It really is just an amusement park from the 1910s and 20s. Rides, gift shops, shows, faceling employees. Man, these facelings better be unionized, because they seem to be doing all the labor in this infinite hell world. Imagine being a faceless entity, and your internal job is operating a rickety wooden coaster for people who accidentally fell through a floorboard in a Wendy's. You know, I think we figured it out. The real horror is infinite retail labor. We also have the Fun Man, who introduces the Wanderer to the level and announces shows and guides the Wanderer to shops. And instead of a head, he is a floating die. Now I get this abomination of a page off my screen. You can't even read most of the headers without highlighting. I still refuse to even go on dark mode. Oh, never mind, it's just as unreadable because the page color is on white. And finally, we have it. Level 703, Garden of the Divine Galleries. Covered in cursive, I'm also struggling to read because the font is genuinely illegible. But that's me being a product of the American public education system, so that's my fault. Level 703, also known as Garden of the Divine Galleries, takes the form of an enormous forest with vibrant pink and purple coloration. The forest has properties similar to other common forests, with an abundance of different types of flowers and trees. And honestly, it is hauntingly beautiful. The radiation transmitted by the level is completely lethal to any living being. However, humans seem to have higher resistance than other beings. However, you're still being cooked alive from prolonged exposure, and it causes a side effect of spiritual pressure, equivalent to being around a Methodist church. The entities are mainly flowers, like the Apollo 12, which emits radiation, or the giant celestial entity in the sky, which keeps it daytime. Hylophage 66 also emits a radioactive frequency, and honestly, with this view, worth. Level 1000 is an entire book. This video is long enough, and there's enough missing data where you once again wonder where legit 408 levels just went. That's how much no data there is when you control out the entire page. 408 times out of 1,000 levels. That is 40.8% of the story gone. And that's not to mention anomalous levels, joke levels, and in lore-wise, infinitely more levels. What I've shown you is legit just 100 random levels, based off a calculator soup random number generator. I started this by showing you the simplicity of level 0. You know, mildewy empty space that goes on forever with vague implications. And look where we ended. Am I even gonna watch the movie? Most likely not. If I did, I'll keep you posted, but this video, I don't even know if this video will get out before the movie. I mean, this was a 24-page whopper. I finished this recording May 14th. I could just be cutting it close. However, I thank you so much for coming and sticking around, though. I'm glad you and I have equally nothing going on, that we were just here forever. I say this recording being several days. You could tell this is several days. New lighting, my sheets are getting washed, and I don't know. That's all, I guess. So, you sticking around to see my pretty little hazel eyes? Okay, fine. Level 560 reading. Level 560, otherwise known as Summer Blaws, is a happy little town I call home. It's in a constant summer that drags on and on. It gets so boring around here. Level 560 is safe to live in. There aren't any entities or monsters lurking here, unless you count my ugly neighbor. Huh. This level takes place in the current year, that being 1944, in the good old US of A, and has an odd effect that causes everything to look like a photo. Kind of freaky, huh? There used to be tons of people hanging around here, but everyone has seemingly vanished recently. I guess they're all staying cool in the hot summer. I can't blame them. The temperatures here always reach 98 degrees. Good thing that's just in Fahrenheit, right? I ain't good with Celsius, but I bet it would make it 1,000,000 degrees if it were 98 Celsius. The sun's bright beams always make it feel like I live in a desert. And there are tons of homes outside of town too. If you go down the big dirt road that goes through the whole town, there's a dirt road connected to it. That dirt road leads to my dad's old house. You can find all sorts of homes here. We don't really lock our doors around here. It's a pretty calm neighborhood, you know? I bet you could just walk right into the homes, though you might get yelled at if you do. There are tons of stores nearby which you can buy everything you need. My mom goes and gets groceries from this one store, which I can never remember the name of. I don't really have much money, but if you happen to have some, you could totally get, like, a lot of ice cream there. The good thing about the town is that it ain't like any of those big crowded cities. We have all sorts of animals and plenty of greenery around here. If you're lucky, you might get to see a rabbit, an eagle, or maybe even a deer. My dad says the forests around here are deciduous. I haven't learned what that is yet, but I think it means the trees lose their leaves in winter. My home is pretty quaint. My living room has the rocking chair and old TV my dad watches all the time. There are a few rooms: the kitchen, my room, my little sister's room, and my parents' room. This is a pretty small house, perfect for our small family. Mother always has lavender in the house. It really stinks up the place, but she seems to like it. My dad used to be a military guy. He fought in the First War. My mom says the lavender is symbolic because of what she used to keep herself calm while my dad was out of the house. My little sister is always crying. It gets pretty annoying sometimes. My dad went to the store to go buy her a teddy bear. Hopefully that'll calm her down. All the water from my town has been tasting super strange lately. It has a weird color and it tastes like almonds. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with it. I haven't seen my friends in a while either. Now that school is out, I've been pretty lonely. I was so excited for summer break. Schoolwork is so boring, but now I'm even more bored than ever. For some reason when I call my friends, they don't answer. I hope they didn't forget about me already.